Hello there, and welcome to episode 3 of On the Fly. I'm your host, Katie DeFeo. Let's get into it. Now, you may notice I'm in my car this week. That is because it is windy in my empty parking lot that I usually film in. If we're lucky, the wind will clear up and I will get back out there. Let's get into the rundown. We had a lot of games this past weekend. Let me break them down for you. We did our pick'em and I had about 5 games that I was gonna watch over the weekend, but I didn't even realize Thursday night, UNC was playing Louisville. I had no idea. I opened my Instagram and what do I see? I see a video of Kerrigan Miller, your friend of mine, friend of the show. I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not surprised. I didn't even know this game was on. I one time did that in practice, but Kerrigan was there, she saw it, but the cameras weren't on, so I don't have any footage of it, but I can do that. I actually taught Kerrigan how to do that move. You wouldn't expect that, but I taught Kerrigan Miller how to make that move. It's not that hard. Next, I'm at brunch on Saturday morning, being that person that has my phone out on the table. Why was my phone out on the table at brunch? Jacksonville versus Virginia Tech. Now, I said last week, it was tough picking against my homie Angie Benson, but Jacksonville, America's team. I love them more than I love anything in the entire world. Oh, by the way, they beat Virginia Tech. I get a FaceTime after they win, and guess who scored the overtime goal? Friend of the show, Sarah Elms. So now we have 2 friends of the show doing big things this past weekend. I'm not gonna come out and say that Kerrigan Miller and Sarah Elms both came out this past weekend and absolutely succeeded on all fronts because they came on the fly, but it's a little funny to me that that's how this thing works. So Sarah Elms, Kerrigan Miller both come on the show and then they have a great weekend. I'm sure that today's guests, you guys know who they are, and I'm sure that they will be excited to know that after coming on the fly, they will be having a big week. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, from Boston College University, Rachel Hall and Charlotte North. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Charlotte North, Rachel Hall, welcome to the show. On the Fly with Katie DeFeo on Unleashed. You know, I'm sure you guys have done a lot of interviews and there's a lot of hype around the team. I've called BC the hype train before on this show. It's no lie, you guys are always going viral on everybody's Instagram feed, you know, just doing your thing out there. Rachel, you guys are both transfers, which is pretty cool. What do you think it was about BC, you know, transferring all the way out from Oregon that has made it so welcoming?
Yeah, I think it's definitely the people, whether it's the coaches. You start with I honestly think we have the best coaching staff in the country. Yeah. And then that's
a hot take, but honestly, I feel like you're probably right.
I mean, I'm sticking by it. I'll take that one. I'll take
that one to the grave. I'm with it. I like that.
Yeah, but so it starts with the coaches and then just the quality of people that Acacia and the rest of the coaching staff recruit. It's just fantastic people who come from fantastic backgrounds and great families, and then we all just come together and the culture is incredible here at BC. So
yeah, absolutely. Charlotte, obviously you've garnered a lot of player comps, you know, Lyle Thompson and, you know, Kayla Trainer, who's one of your coaches. What's one player that people necessarily wouldn't think of when they watch you play that you've drawn inspiration from in the past, if there is one?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say I did learn a lot from the men's game, but I think a little less so. Michelle Tumlo was someone I watched a lot because I learned kind of the art of a women's lacrosse outside shot from her. You know, before the Nicole Levy's and the next generation of players that came after that. I think watching her as a lefty take those, you know, kind of shots in the women's game is someone that I really was inspired by. Who it's a little less of a comparison, but I learned a lot from her, and I still watch her tapes back too to learn from her play.
And then my last question is for you, Rachel. There's a quote from a great philosopher. They ran me 10 reps. I threw it like Brady. I just think you guys are ridiculous. I see your Instagram and I'm like, you guys are absurd. It's not a shock. Whatever. First game of the year, I think so. I see Rachel, you just drop back and throw it 50 yards to Charlotte. I'm like, I literally put it on my Instagram story. I was like, you guys are absurd. So was that a drawn up thing? Is that a fail safe clear, or was that literally just out of the blue?
I mean, that's something that it's kind of cheesy. My dad, we would do it last year and he'd be like, you have to do this and we can name it the Texas two-step. It'll be so
cool. Texas two-step.
And I was like, no, that's so lame. We can't never say that ever again. But then we do it in practice, and honestly, we had a scrimmage against Bryant the week before and we did it the week before. So then when we did it against Albany, it was kind of just Charlotte's open, I'll hit her. And then it blew up, Sports Center, all that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of just something we do in practice.
I see her across the field and she gives me a look and I know exactly what she's about to do. And our coaches are no, don't do it. And she launches it and I just jump up for it and somehow she gets it there. I don't know how.
Yeah, that's a 50-yarder. That was absolutely insane. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm on the BC hype train. I'm a big fan. Very fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Katie. Shout out Claire Domchick.
Yeah, shout out Claire Domchick, shout out University of Oregon. We did not forget about you.
Rachel and Charlotte, thank you guys for coming on the show. It was great hearing from you guys. I'm a big fan of the Boston College Eagles. You guys are always on my Instagram feed, going nuts, going dummy viral, and I figured I gotta show love, put them on the show. Rachel and Charlotte are two leaders on that team in that locker room. I'm very excited to see how Boston College finishes their season. Speaking of Boston College finishing their season, they have Louisville this weekend, and that is one of my games to watch. Additionally, on my games to watch, we have the University of Southern California Women of Troy versus the Colorado Buffaloes, or Buffaloes, yeah, I think Buffaloes. USC lost to Arizona State. I was there. It was not pretty. I did not enjoy it. But if you think that I'm ever going to switch up on my friends, my sisters, my blood sisters, you're wrong. You're flat out lying to yourself. USC could lose by 100 to any team, and I would still be at the next game waving my USC flag. USC has a chance to redeem themselves versus Colorado. The Boulder Buffaloes come to town this weekend. I will be there. Maybe I'll do a little vlogging there, actually. That is one of my games to watch. Some Pac-12 action. We love it. Out west, grow the game. Next up this Friday, we have one of my favorite matchups to watch year in and year out. The James Madison University Dukes versus the Virginia Cavaliers. I know that JMU has been struggling a little bit this year. They're not up to their standard, which is a national championship, because they're sick. And they lost Maddie McDaniel to USC. Tough. And they lost Patrick DeFeo and Brendan DeFeo, who both graduated. So JMU, I haven't been there in a little while. Don't know much about it anymore. But I got my Dukes over the Cavs. Never been much of a Cavalier. Never been much of a Wahoo. Pick a mascot, in my opinion. JMU Dukes by 90. So that's Friday, right? And then you know what I want you guys to do? I want you to enjoy your Saturday and Sunday. Watch some lacrosse, but I got nothing for you there. Let's all go have a nice weekend. Maybe go out to some brunch in a socially distanced group with friends or family. Maybe go visit your grandmother from 6 feet away with a mask on. Bring her some cookies. I'm sure she'd love it. There are a million things you could do this weekend to spread cheer in this beautiful world. But be ready for Monday. Hot Take Monday. A good Monday lacrosse game. My University of Maryland Terp versus the Northwestern Wildcats. I picked Northwestern last weekend to lose to Rutgers, and they absolutely embarrassed me. They embarrassed me. They must have seen it. Hunter Chadwick, I know you may have sent it to the team. That's my girl. That's my homie from my hometown, Severna Park, Maryland. I used to be able to say that I've never been wrong after I picked Jacksonville's upset. Humble brag. I have been wrong. I was wrong about Rutgers beating Northwestern. Wrong by a lot. I saw that score and I was like, that's tough. I got Maryland to beat Northwestern. I'm sorry that I'm picking against Northwestern twice in 2 weekends. I know it looks bad, but I'm never, ever, 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 ever gonna pick against my University of Maryland Terps. Shout out Taylor Cummings. Shout out Alex Ost. Shout out Caroline Steele. Shout out Kristen Lehman. Shout out. 2 calls to action at the end of this video. Do your part and watch a women's lacrosse game this weekend, and cop the merch. Get the merch down below. I'm always wearing it. I wore it at work the other day. I wear it all the time. It's comfortable. It's fitting. It's amazing. Get your merch. Watch women's lacrosse. Subscribe to the Unleashed channel. Follow us on Instagram. I love you guys. Go Terps, go Dolphins, go USC Trojans, Jacksonville Lacrosse, America's team, baby. Let's go. And shout out to Rachel Hall and Charlotte North. I love you guys. Woo!